What's going on, guys? Underrain here, and today I'm bringing you a video on how to get your first FireCape. Yes, as a recent achiever of this great feat and champion of the fight caves. Yeah, baby. I'm now at liberty to tell you how to do it, at least the way I did. Remember, I'm a mediocre player. You are too. That's why you're watching this video. So I'm going to show you the bare minimum way to get your FireCape. This is an expert guide. I don't know anything about the rotations. This is literally for you to go into the fight caves and come out victorious against Papa Jad himself. If you're looking for a more informative video, too bad. This is what you're getting. Now, here's the thing. If I can get one, you can get one. If I could do it, you can do it. Just remember that. You don't have to be great at the game. You just have to be average. That's what this channel's about. Average players, me and you. This is where it all starts. Let's go up from here. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to go over with you is the stats you're going to need in order to complete the fight caves. Now, you're going to be doing this whole thing with ranged. So at the bare minimum, you're going to want 75 ranged for that sweet toxic blowpipe. After that is hit points, bare minimum, 75 as well. Getting into prayer, 43 at the very least, honestly. And if you're big ballin', you know, you can use rigor if you're 74 plus. But if you're poor and just on an average playing field like me, you're going to use eagle eye. Finally, defense, bare minimum, 70, and I'll explain why in a minute. Now, like I'm saying, these are the bare minimum requirements. Anything above this is in your benefit. So, I mean, if you get base 80s, you're going to be chilling. If you have base 90s, this is going to be such a breeze for you. I don't even know why. Let me reword that. If you have base 90s and you don't have a FireCape yet, what are you doing? Why are you even on this game? Like, are you, like, what? I'm sorry. I don't mean to flame you, but seriously, I could get this. If you have base 90s and you haven't even attempted it, what have you been doing? Slaying gargoyles for 200 hours? Come on now. All right, next I'm going to talk about the gear setup you're going to want to do. On the screen, this is what I did it with. If you get the Jad Slayer task, you can go in with the Slayer helmet to make things a little bit easier. Other than that, I went in with the Blessed D-Hide with an Amulet of Fury, Ava's Device, Toxic Blowpipe, Rada's Blessing, Barrow's Gloves, and an Imbued Archer Ring. That total setup is, whenever I checked it, is like 6 to 8 mil right now at the time of making this video. If you want to tank some damage and make a little room for mistakes, you can replace some of the D-Hide for Varix pieces. I didn't find this necessary. I found that getting to Jad with this setup was actually pretty easy. So I think you should make it there with this setup, no problem. If, you know, you're a little bit poorer, you don't have quite that much money, you can just do regular Dragon Hide, like black preferably. You don't need an archer's ring that's imbued. The better your ranged accuracy is going to be, the better off you will be. So the better gear you have, the better you're going to do in the fight cave. This is just what I used. It got me there fine, and I had no issues with taking damage or, you know, getting to Jad. It was actually pretty simple with this setup. Next, we're going to go into the inventory. On the screen is the basic inventory that you'll need, like 6 to 8 Ceradomin brews, Bastion potions. You can use ranged potions. I did that and it worked out fine. The stamina potion is optional. If you're just learning the fight caves, I find it's helpful for running to and from safe spots to kind of get the hang of things, and you might run out of stamina. It happened to me, so that's optional. You don't really need it. You only need enough super restores to counteract the amount of brews you have, so it's a 3-to-1 ratio. Every 3 sips of the brew, 1 sip of the super restore. So you can calculate however many you need. But the image on the screen, that's what I went with, and it helped me out a lot. A couple things to go over though. If you have a Ceradomin God Sword, you can use that. You can bring that in and use its special attack. Also, take a Holy Wrench because it will help give you a little bit more back on each dose of your prayer potion. I forgot to put in that image, you're going to want to bring in 100 Dragon Darts for Jad. Just bring them in. Trust me. Don't use whatever you're using. I used Amethyst in my blowpipe for the whole fight caves, and then once I get to Jad, I switched out for Dragon Darts. Just do it. It'll help you out in the end, and it's really not that much. It's only 100. Come on. If you're spending 8 mil on gear just to go in, you can afford 100 Dragon Darts. I swapped them in like right before I killed the last major. So that way they were good to go and I didn't have to worry about it once Jad popped out. Yo, tell me if you guys notice a difference in my audio quality. I am trying so hard to get this thing as best as I can without dropping $1,000 on a mic setup. So, let me know what you think. All right, moving on to the next segment, which is the actual monsters and mobs that spawn inside the fight cave. First, we have this little bird thing here. He attacks with melee and drains prayer points whenever he hits you. So you're going to want to prioritize him pretty quickly because you don't want to lose your prayer points. You want to keep those as much as possible. Next, we have this fat blob here. He attacks with melee as well, but whenever you kill him, he spawns into these two smaller blobs like this. They're pretty low priority and they don't do a ton of damage, but if you don't take care of them, they will start to, their damage will start to stack up. Next, we have the ranger who also attacks with melee, but you're almost never going to be in his melee range, so you just have to worry about the ranged attack. Next, we have Macho Man, aka the healer, aka magnet feet, because his feet look like magnets. At least I think they do. Primary attack is melee, and it will heal itself and other monsters given the chance. So just save spot it and you'll be fine. Next, we have the major who attacks with magic and melee, but like the ranger, you're almost never going to be in melee range, so you just have to worry about the magic attack. Basically, you're always going to be praying against this whenever it spawns, but we'll get into that in the wave breakdown. Next, we have Papa Jad. Attacks with all three, magic, ranged, and melee. You're using a blowpipe, so just don't get into his melee range. You only have to worry about his magic and ranged attacks. Whenever Jad gets to half health, 4 smaller healers spawn and start to heal Jad. We'll get into more details about what you're going to do with these, but just know that there are 4 that spawn and you're going to need to prioritize this, but we'll get into that once we get into the wave breakdown. All right, on the screen here is an actual map of the fight caves and what they look like. You'll see 3 circled rocks, the long rock, the dragon rock, and the Italy rock. This is where you're going to be safe spotting and hiding from mobs. Honestly though, this is your first time, so all you really need is the Italy rock, the one that looks like a boot. That is your home now. You live, breathe, and sleep here. You'll see 5 green circles. Those are 5 potential Jad spawns, and we'll talk about that as we get later into the waves. So the basic fundamentals of the waves are, as each wave progresses, it introduces a new mob. Basically, wave 1 through 30, you're just going to be safe spotting the melayers and praying against the rangers while they're spawned in. 31 is very important. Make sure you switch protect from magic before the major spawns, or else you will get hit very highly, or you'll get hit for heavy damage. Wave 38, this is when it kind of starts to get interesting because now you have a major and a ranger at the same time. You're just going to tank and spank the range damage and continue to pray against mage. I'd say wave 53 is really when the fight caves start. You should have almost no trouble getting to this point, but this is where now you have a major, a ranger, and the meleer. You're going to be safe spotting the meleer, killing the ranger as fast as possible, and praying against the major. Now, you finally made it to wave 62. It's been a long, grueling hour, probably how long it's going to take you. This is your first time doing it and you're in mid-level gear. On wave 62, 2 majors spawn, a red one and an orange one. You need to figure out where the orange majors spawn because that is where Jad is going to spawn in the next wave. Kill the red one, go to the orange one. Remember those dragon darts you brought in? I like to switch to them whenever the orange major is down to about a quarter of his health. And I'll swap the darts out. You could do half health to be safe, but swap the darts, get ready for Jad. That way you don't have to worry about it as soon as Jad spawns. Just one less thing you have to worry about. All right, wave 63, Papa Jad is here. Now, what you're going to want to do is pay attention to his feet. Some people talk about how there's audio cues. Don't do those because it's probably going to be too late by the time you hear the audio and then are able to switch prayers. Jad has 2 basic animations, one where he stomps the ground, that's his range attack, and the other where he rears up on his back legs, kind of like a horse does. So I call it the neigh. He's doing the neigh. You have to switch prayers during this animation. If you wait too long and you see the projectile, it's too late and you're dead. Once Jad gets to half health, now the healers are going to spawn. So what you're going to want to do is tag one healer, switch to the appropriate prayer for Jad's attack. Then tag another healer, switch prayers again. Do this for all 4 healers. This will give you plenty of time to tag all 4 and make sure you're not taking damage from Jad and dying. It takes about 4 attack cycles, but trust me, don't rush it if it's your first time because you will die and you'll be upset. Once you tag all the healers and they're no longer healing Jad and they're aggroed on you, just tank their damage, keep focusing on switching prayers and attacking Jad, and now congratulations, you just got yourself your very first FireCape. It only took a measly easily hour and 20 minutes of your time. But if you're like me, you slowly start getting better, and my last attempt took 50 minutes. So, you know, just subtle improvements. All right, the first thing you want to do now that you have your FireCape, go to the Grand Exchange, flame anyone that doesn't have it. Wear it skilling, wear it everywhere. You are now better than everyone who doesn't have one. It is your job to make sure everyone knows that. You can watch as many guides as you want and try to prepare as much as you want, but the best way to learn is just get in the fight caves, pull up a wave breakdown on the wiki of every wave and what's going to spawn next, and just keep that up while you're in here. Honestly, the best way to learn is just get in there. You might die a couple times, whatever, just, you know, get in there, experience it. Before you know it, you will be champion of fight caves. All right, I hope this video helped. If it did, leave a like and a follow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.